You think you know a chosen one just because they smile softly, speak gently, and love deeply. Look again. Behind those calm eyes is a soul forged in storms, a warrior trained in silence, a being who's learned to fight battles no one else even sees. And when pushed too far, that same quiet soul will become your loudest awakening. Chosen ones are never what they seem. They're soft, yes, but not because they're weak. It's because they choose peace over destruction. But don't get it twisted. When peace is no longer an option, they become something else entirely. Something that even darkness respects. Since childhood, people misunderstood them. They were the quiet kid in the corner, the one who cried when others laughed, the one who asked questions nobody could answer. They weren't just different, they were designed that way. They were built to be misread, underestimated, overlooked, because God knew the power they carried needed time. Time to mature, time to awaken. That's why chosen ones are always hidden before they're revealed. They don't rise loudly, they rise divinely. They go through pain that would shatter most people, but they don't break. They absorb it. They transform it. Their tears become fuel. Their heartbreak becomes strategy. Their isolation becomes spiritual training. And if you've ever met one, you'll notice something strange. They'll love you deeply, protect you fiercely, and stand by you even when you don't deserve it. But betray them, and something shifts. That soft presence you once knew disappears. Their energy changes. Their silence becomes louder than any scream. Because chosen ones don't get revenge. They let the universe handle it. And trust me, the universe listens to them. They carry a strange kind of memory. Sometimes, they'll walk into a room and know what happened there long before they arrived. Sometimes, they'll meet someone and immediately sense their intentions without a single word spoken. That's not paranoia. That's spiritual intelligence. That's divine protection coded into their being. And yet, a world calls them too emotional, too intense, too much. But the truth is, they're just too real. Too awake for a world that runs on lies. Too deep for people still living on the surface. That's why chosen ones often walk alone. Not because they want to, but because their frequency is too rare to be matched. They are tested more than others. Not because life is unfair, but because their calling is greater. Where others get detours, they get dead ends. Where others get breaks, they get burdens. But those burdens, they're blessings in disguise, because every setback forces them to look inward, to remember who they are, to rebuild not on ego, but on essence. They don't just survive storms, they become them. They're the ones who stay calm when everything is collapsing. The ones who know exactly what to say when everyone else is lost. And it's not because they have it all figured out. It's because they've been through the fire so many times. They are the fire. Their kindness is strategic. It's not naivety, it's awareness. They know pain, so they refuse to cause it. They know abandonment, so they choose loyalty. But the moment someone mistakes that kindness for weakness, something ancient awakens in them. A power that doesn't yell, but echoes. A strength that doesn't flex, but dominates silently. They don't brag. They don't boast. They don't show off. Because real power doesn't have to prove itself. It just is. And that's what makes them dangerous. You'll never see them coming until they've already shifted the entire atmosphere around you. There's a reason darkness tries to distract them. Why enemies come in the form of lovers. Why betrayal always comes from those closest to them. Because the only way to stop a chosen one is to make them doubt themselves. But here's the thing. Even when they're shattered, they still rise. Even when they don't believe in themselves, their purpose keeps pulling them forward. They're spiritually protected in ways that others can't explain. Random miracles happen for them. Close calls that should have ended in disaster somehow turn into divine redirection. People try to curse them, but end up cursed themselves. Because you don't touch a chosen one without consequences. Not because they retaliate, but because the universe does it for them. They're here for more than just survival. They're here to shift realities. They are the bridge between the seen and unseen. They speak life into dead places. They hold space when no one else can, and yet they're often misunderstood, ridiculed, even feared. But that's always been the fate of the chosen. What's different is dangerous. What's divine is threatening to the ego. So the world labels them too intense, too spiritual, too sensitive. But all those twos are actually superpowers. Their sensitivity is insight. Their intensity is energy. Their spirituality is connection. They're plugged into something deeper, something older, something sacred. And when they tap into it fully, there's no stopping them. They're magnets, not because they try to attract, but because their energy is undeniable. People are drawn to them without knowing why. Strangers confess things to them. Enemies watch them silently. Jealousy follows them like a shadow, not because they have everything, but because they are everything some people are pretending to be. And still, they move with grace. They don't seek revenge. They seek clarity. They don't argue. They observe. They don't beg. They detach, because they know their worth isn't negotiable, and their energy isn't for everyone. So if you're a chosen one watching this, and you felt too soft for this world, remember this. You're not soft. You're sacred. And your kindness. That's your power, not your weakness. But when that power is awakened, when your spirit fully remembers who it is, you won't just be kind. You'll be unstoppable. The world doesn't realize how dangerous kindness can become when it's been stretched, tested, and torn. A chosen one's love is not ordinary. It's sacred, rare, and when betrayed, it doesn't just vanish, it transforms. The most feared version of a chosen one is the awakened version, the one who no longer needs validation, the one who no longer chases those who can't see them, the one who finally realizes, I was never meant to fit in, I was meant to stand out. They stop explaining themselves. They stop trying to be understood. They stop shrinking to keep others comfortable. Instead, they embody their purpose, loudly, silently, fiercely. Whatever form it takes, it's real. It's unstoppable. It's holy. They don't expose their enemies. They let time do it. Because chosen ones move on a higher frequency. They know karma is more efficient than confrontation. They don't clap back. They ascend. And when they rise, those who hurt them have no choice but to watch. People who once mocked them end up imitating them. People who abandoned them end up needing them. That's the silent reversal. That's the divine boomerang effect that surrounds every chosen one. Because when you're called, the betrayal becomes a blessing. The rejection becomes redirection. The isolation becomes activation. That's why you've been alone. Not because something is wrong with you, but because God needed to isolate you before He elevated you. Because what you carry is too sacred to be touched by the wrong hands. So He removed everyone not aligned with your destiny, not to punish you, but to preserve you. And in that loneliness, you discovered your truth. You cried. You questioned. You almost gave up. But something inside said, not yet. That voice wasn't just your intuition. It was your ancestors. It was your angels. It was your higher self remembering who you are. You're not here to live a small life. You're not here to just survive. You're here to awaken others. But before you could do that, you had to awaken yourself. And that's exactly what you did. That moment you stopped chasing people. That moment you stopped explaining your value. That moment you stopped apologizing for being different. That's when you became powerful. Now you walk differently. Your silence speaks louder. Your energy introduces you before your words. You've stepped into your alignment. And whether people like it or not, you can't be ignored anymore. Enemies feel it before they see it. They try to provoke you, distract you, break you. But it doesn't work like it used to. You've elevated. You've evolved. You've become the version of yourself they never expected. The version that doesn't entertain nonsense. The version that doesn't fight battles beneath them. The version that lets God fight for them. And what's even scarier, you still lead with love. You still choose peace when others bring chaos. But your love has boundaries now. Your peace has standards. That's what makes you fearsome. Because you are light, with discernment. You are love, with self-respect. You are open, but no longer unguarded. You learn that not everyone deserves access, that not everyone can handle the weight of your soul, that your spirit was never meant to be diluted just so others could digest it more easily. So now you protect your peace like a warrior. You guard your energy like it's gold, because it is. And you say no without guilt. You walk away without explanation. You honor yourself without hesitation. This is when people start calling you cold. But it's not coldness, it's clarity. You've just stopped tolerating what drains you. You've just stopped explaining what can only be felt. You've just stopped entertaining people who can't even meet you on a soul level. Because when a chosen one finally understands their worth, the whole game changes. They don't beg to be seen anymore. They radiate. They don't wait to be chosen anymore. They remember they were already chosen.